Today, we are giving you our ultimate list of water games for your youth group.
Welcome to the Ministry Coach Podcast, where we bring you weekly tips and tactics to help you fast track the growth and health of your youth ministry. My name is Jeff Lascola, and this is
Kristen Lascola, and today we're going to give you 5 water games that you can play in your youth ministry.
And if you email us at ministrycoachpodcast@gmail.com, we'll actually send you 15 more for a grand total of 20 water games.
Lucky you. Well, it is hot.
Yeah.
So water games and youth ministry go together because it's summer, and if you're in Southern California, it's going to be summer for a pretty long time, probably until Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So these will come in very handy for your youth group. Number 1, we're going to start actually with one you can play inside or outside. Totally up to you. I played it inside, and I just make sure I don't fill the balloons with too much water and maybe put a little tarp down. But the first one we like to play often is called Trivia Crack. So I love doing boys versus girls for this game, and we start off and we ask for 5 boys, 5 girls, or if you're doing 2 different teams or even 3 different teams, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you have an equal number of players per team. So you ask for your volunteers and you set up that amount of chairs up on the stage or the front, wherever you're playing. We usually play just slightly off the stage so that we don't get the equipment wet, but we do it up in front so everyone can see. So I like to use metal chairs or plastic chairs, just nothing with the cushion so that, it doesn't get soaking wet. And you pre-fill all of your balloons. You don't have to use water balloons for this game. That's one thing I really like about it is because I can just go to Dollar Tree or get it just I have a random bag of balloons laying around and it'll work just fine.
What's a youth ministry without a random bag of balloons laying around?
Always have balloons on hand. You will need them in a pinch. So we fill them up, just the bottom portion of it, with a little bit of water. If you're playing outside, put a ton of water in there. It doesn't matter.
Or use a bucket.
Or you don't
outside.
even need to do balloons. You could just have buckets. You would need quite a few to make the game work, but you could do it. So
Just refill the same bucket.
You could do that too. You could be totally smart like Jeff and do that. So you pick the kids, they come in, they sit down in the chairs, and then you have like a category such as
Candy bars,
flavors of cereal, flavors of ice cream, Disney movies, sports, colors, car models, sports teams, whatever. There's a lot of different categories, books of the Bible. Make sure you have about 15 categories ready to go. Animals. I was looking at your shirt and I was like, animals, that'd be a great one. Birds, pink birds, types of pink birds. Maybe too
that
narrow.
Would be a little too specific.
Too narrow. And so I like to have some leaders line up behind the kids. So the kids are sitting in the chairs. The leaders are lined up, standing behind them, holding a balloon over their head with something to pop. If you don't have enough leaders to do one per kid, you could have one leader, keep going down the line and holding it over their head. And then you have a mic, or they could just shout it out. And so you say, all right, the category is types of cereal. We're going to start with you, Jeff. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Apple Jacks.
Lucky Charms.
Cheerios.
Honey Bunch of Oats.
Grape Nuts.
Shredded Wheat.
Raisin Bran. Oh, boom.
Okay.
I can't believe I beat you. Or do you just want to end
I was doing
it?
it for the game. They're like, we get it.
Too good.
We get it. So if I hesitate and I'm like, I don't have anything to say, I get a balloon popped on my head and I'm out. Or if I repeat something that was already said, either that I said or someone else said, I get a balloon popped on my head and I'm out and I'm eliminated. You play until there is one winner, and it's a whole lot of fun. Then, depending on how many balloons or how much time you have, you can ask for 10 more volunteers, reset, pick a new category, and go like that.
Yeah.
But you will need a new category. I do one each time we restart. So I got a balloon popped over my head. I'm out. We restart with a new category. All right. Next round, movies, Disney movies.
Because it gets hard to, did we say that twice or was that a new round? Also, I said grape nuts. That's a really random one. That's like from the really deep archives of my brain, I think.
I think they should stop manufacturing that.
I think I should get it popped on my head for saying grape nuts, to be honest.
Maybe you could play that. Like if I don't like your answer, if your answer stinks, but so that one's really fun. Yeah. My students love it. And here's the beauty of that game. Simple setup, simple to play. It's very low prep and very, very fun.
And like you said, you can do it indoors with a small amount of water, or you can go hog wild and do it outside and fill the whole balloon up. So
yes. So that is number one. Number two is another one of my favorites. This one is called Lava Lob. So this one is a variation of volleyball. So you have kids bring beach towels and you set up a volleyball net. Or, in youth ministry, I think we're really good at setting up things that are like other things. Set up something like a volleyball net if you don't have a volleyball net.
It's not about your resources. It is about your resourcefulness.
Yeah.
That's like the tagline for youth ministry, I feel like.
It should be. I have been known to have two leaders holding a rope above their head, and that's the volleyball net. I don't have posts, so you got to hold them. I don't have a net, but here's a rope. Just make it over the rope, people. So don't tell me you don't have, I can't play these games. That. Yes, you can. Come on, get creative. So you put half the team on one side, half your group on one side, half the group on the other. And you can either do little pods of 4, meaning each person holds a corner of the beach towel. Yeah. Or if you have less kids, you could do each one holds a side. So they're holding 2 corners. And the point is you want to catch the balloon in your towel and then you fling it over the net to be caught on the other side and then flung back over. So it's like volleyball, but you're flinging. And I usually give students a couple practice rounds. Getting that fling down is kind of hard because they get it all wrapped up in their towel. So it's like a coordinated effort, like 3, 2, 1, fling. And then if it hits the ground, obviously the team that threw it gets a point, or if it goes out of bounds, typical volleyball rules. Right. That is a lot of fun. We love to play that during the summer. So you can play it at the beach or in the parking lot, whatever you've got.
Another variation is you can use bed sheets and have more people along there kind of surrounding the whole thing. Yeah. And maybe just do less groups, but totally up to you. It's a bigger target for it to land in.
Good point.
It's a little harder to maneuver back and forth though. So
yeah. And you would need more people around each one. All right, another one we love to play, and again, you can play this one indoor or outdoor, just use more or less water depending on your setting. It's called electricity. And this one's hilarious. I don't know where I found this game, but we've been playing it for
years.
15 years and never gets old. So you have 2 teams that are facing each other in a line and they're holding hands, and you can put them about 3 feet apart from each other. So 2 lines of students, they're facing each other, holding hands 3 feet apart. At one end of that line, you put a chair with a cup of water. And then at the other end, you're standing there, or a leader or whoever, and they're the person who's going to start the electrical current. So you have the kids hold hands, they put their heads down and they close their eyes. When the first person in line that's next to you feels a tap on their shoulder, that means start the electric current. That means squeeze the hand that you're holding, then that person squeeze the hand, then that person squeeze the hand, and that person squeeze all the way down to the last person gets the squeeze. And when they feel it, they grab that cup of water and they throw it in the face of the person across from them, and they get a point for their team. That person then moves to the front of the line and everyone moves down. It is super fun.
Do you move both teams on both sides?
Yes.
Okay. So whether you got hit or not.
Like that was your chance. Now you got to move on. And it's very, very obvious if somebody starts the electric current without being squozen. So you can watch that current like squeeze go all the way down. Their eyes are closed.
Yeah. Supposed to be.
Keyword. But if someone randomly starts it in the middle, like, oh, I'm going to be so funny. You're so original.
Does and will happen.
Yes. I say, well, I saw you start it. So the other point or the other team gets a point. Yeah. So if you cheat, you
used
forfeit
to do this where you would flip a coin.
Yeah, and that just took too long.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
We used
why.
to do it like the person would flip a coin, and when it lands on heads, then you start the electric currents. Like, it just seemed like a cumbersome extra step when all I could do is, whenever I'm ready, tap you.
Yeah.
You know. And coin flipping is harder than it seems sometimes.
It always falls on the ground.
And you got to go find it.
And then if there is like, it's supposed to, squeeze on heads and it's tails, but they think it's heads and oops, oh, sorry. And then naturally it goes all the way and someone just grabs
I think you answered your own question. Okay. This one is super fun and fun to watch. Slip and slide kickball. So I don't know how you've seen it played, but I think you could play it a couple different ways. So obviously we know how to play kickball. And then if you're on the grass field, you can either put strips of slip and slide, like a strip from
the baselines.
Yes. Thank you. That's an easier way of saying that. Or if you had one gigantic one, you can put the whole field on that, because I feel a little bad for the infield if they're the only ones slipping around. Like the outfield should have to slip around somewhat too. So we have a gigantic plastic roll that we got from Home Depot and we use it with our kids in our backyard. We put it down on the grass. It's gigantic, and you put biodegradable soap. If you don't want it to get in people's eyes, you could use baby shampoo and water. The soap makes it so much more slippery. So I prefer it that way. I think it's a lot more fun. And I prefer the giant one as opposed to baselines, just to even out infield and outfield a little bit more. But if you're
it's only gonna be really big to get the outfield in there.
Well,
too.
Not the entire thing. I just think it's nice when you have that whole big square. So if they're running and trying to catch, and so whatever, either way, I think is super fun. It works. But I would say the magic ingredient to that game is soap.
Yeah. And then the bases, it's always fun to use the inflatable mini kiddie pools, and that is filled with water as well. So they kind of slide into that. If you're doing the base paths, I think if you're not doing the whole giant one, if you're just doing the base paths, just do like half the base path. So the first portion is grass. So that way they can kind of get a normal running start and then slide into it.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, it's really hard to run on those things.
Totally.
So if the whole thing is slip and slide, I mean, that's hilarious to watch, but
might not be very
effective to run. And, right.
Yeah. Also, every time you say base path, I feel like you're saying it wrong. But
I probably am. There's a few words in the English
it just doesn't sound right, but it is.
Baseline?
Base path. It just seems like it should be like bath pace or something. Like the endings just don't seem
base
right.
Path. Well, whatever.
Sounds weird. So yes, slip and slide kickball. And here's what I'm so envious of. If you are the church, if you're the youth group, Heather Hubelin.
Speaking of words you can't
pronounce. From Clovis, I'm talking to you. She has a giant grass field.
That's awesome.
And it's like the hugest grass field I've ever
Now you've
seen.
jinxed yourself. Base path.
I went to her church last summer and I'm like, who has this big of a grass field in California?
We have a big parking lot.
We have a big parking lot. Everyone has a big parking lot. Grass is too expensive to water.
Concrete and
asphalt. I was very jealous. So if you have a grass field, you don't know how lucky you are. You can play all these games.
Or a gym.
Yes. You guys, I have nothing. I have an auditorium with a concrete floor. It is hard to play a lot of games. So consider yourself lucky. All right. And then our next game, this one is super fun. Ultimate Steal the Bacon. Inner Tube edition.
And just as a reminder, if you need any of the supplies to go to any of these games, they'll be in the description in the video or the podcast below. There you go.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
So we're going to play this week because we're going to the Klamath River for summer camp. So what we do is we get our two teams and we line them up on the shore of the river. You could play this in a pool or on a slip and slide if you invested in that big plastic tarp from Home Depot. But you number the students 1 through however many you have. 1 through 5, 1 through 10. And then you put the inner tube out in the water with a leader holding it there. We usually put about 15, 20 feet out into the water. If your number is called, you have to swim out to the tube, grab it, and you have to drag it back and touch your cone on the side of your team. So the cool thing about this game is it's not as simple as it sounds, because this, like when the kid's number is called, they just swim and they're going hard and they got it. But what they don't realize is there's another kid in the water. Yeah. Maybe they didn't get to the tube first, but they're going to try their best to get it out of your dead, lifeless fingers, and they will wrestle, sometimes we have to blow the whistle because like, okay, we just got to end this round. It's too much. But they start to just kind of tug of war it and drag it. And then they stretch out kind of like in tug of war and try to grab their team cone. And once they do that, the round is over. I like calling more than one number. I think it's a lot better on the ego. So you are not the only loser out there.
There's two losers.
Yes. And then it's like, well, who was the weak link? We'll never know. So it's a little better on that. And it's just more fun with teamwork. So you could play that, like I said, on a slip and slide, which is a lot of fun, or you can play it in a pool, a lake, river.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Body of water.
Any body of water.
Yeah. And like I said before, go ahead and email us at ministrycoachpodcast@gmail.com and we can send you all 20 games, instructions, and all that stuff. So that will give you enough to last several summers.
And weeks and weeks of water games just for you.
Right now, we're going to do a question of the day. And then we actually are in the middle of a giveaway for our 200th episode. So we're going to go ahead and do that as well.
Woo.
Question of the day is, if you could jump into a pool of something that is not water, what would it be?
You go first.
Okay, I am going to pick the styrofoam peanut things, the packaged peanuts. Peanuts. It's contagious.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I just don't know how far you'd sink, but that's part of the joy of figuring out how far you'd go down, I guess.
Most likely that will never happen in your life, so you'll never find out. Did you ever see Bruce Almighty? Was it Bruce Almighty? There was a movie, maybe it wasn't Bruce Almighty, and this old lady's dream was to be in a pool full of noodles, and they made her dream come true at the end. They put her in a pool and they filled it up with noodles. I don't think
maybe it is Bruce Almighty. I don't remember that.
I feel like it's a Jim Carrey movie. If you know the answer, put it in the comments. I can't remember, but that's what I would do.
Okay. Noodles. Any specific kind?
Either elbow macaroni or spaghetti.
Okay.
I'm not sure which one.
I think you'd probably need to do it quick, because I wouldn't want to have that stuff start to ferment or just get disgusting.
I'd want them to be slightly damp.
This is really gross. Lukewarm.
Like, I just
steaming hot,
slip around in the noodles, but if they're too dry, you're not going to. So I want a slippy noodle.
All right, let's do the giveaway. This is for 3 Castle Sports.
Can I have those?
Black light 9 square balls. So these actually do glow in or under black light,
and they glow so glowy.
And so we're giving away 3 sets. So you get 3, and we're giving away to 3
I'd
people.
like to enter the contest.
Too late. All right. The winners are, as I have written down,
Kristen Lasko.
Nope. Justin Amos, Jamin Thomas, and Christian Tompkins. Congratulations.
You did
won.
it.
Now, if you're
share with me.
If you are Justin, Jamin, or Christian, and you're like, I don't even have a 9 square set, what better incentive than to get one? Make sure you visit castlesports.com and check out their 9 square sets. We have one. It's super awesome. We did a review of them
all the time.
And if you use code MINISTRYCOACH, you actually get $50 off any set, any Castle Sports set that they have. So that's really cool. Make sure you guys utilize
I'm going to bring mine to camp, Jeff.
You should, because it's very, very portable. That sounds like an advertisement, but we're being honest here. It's a really, I
use it all the time. But now you reminded me, I think I don't have any balls left. I think someone stole them.
Well, too late.
Lost them.
Yeah. If you're in youth ministry, dodgeballs, 9 square balls, anything like any kind of...
There's a black hole in the universe where they all are.
Right. Any kind of sporting equipment, it just goes away.
Gone.
We've actually had dodgeballs up in the rafters at church. So
how do they get there?
There's probably quite a few up there. All right. Well, if you haven't already entered our giveaway, we still have a few weeks left. So make sure you head over to the episode we did all about burnout. It was episode 200, and find all the information on how to enter the giveaway, and make sure you check back in the next few weeks and see if you won. So congratulations for the guys who won.
Yee.
We thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Today we are giving you our ultimate list of water games.
Actually, I didn't really think of. Oh, I know a response. I would choose.
That was fast.
Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay.
Shoot, I lost my train. We could be.